What if I told you the House just wildly approved the Senate's dramatic amendments? Major changes are coming. They affect everyone. In this video, we'll break down what changed, who benefits, and what happens next. This is the most sweeping piece of legislation in over a decade. Stay tuned, we're going deep on the details that matter. Let's start with taxes. The Senate made Trump's 2017 tax cuts permanent. This avoids a 22% tax increase, impacting most families next year. New tax deductions include $25,000 for tipped income and $1,200 for overtime. But these phase out for individuals earning over $150,000 or $300,000 for couples. The child tax credit won't double as the House proposed. Instead, it gets a one-time $200 increase in 2020, so even stays locked at that level. There's also a new deduction, up to $10,000 in interest on car loans, but only if the vehicle was made in the US. In short, this package mostly benefits middle and higher income earners. Lower income families hoping for more relief got much less. Now let's look at healthcare and food assistance. The Senate deepened Medicaid cuts, pushing total reductions to nearly $1 trillion. The Congressional Budget Office estimates over 11 million Americans could lose coverage. To soften the blow, a $50 billion rural hospital fund was added. Regarding SNAP benefits, food stamps, able-bodied adults without young children must work 20 hours per week to qualify. States with high SNAP error rates may be required to repay federal funds, but this rule has been delayed. Bottom line, these changes save the government money, but reduce access to care and support for the most vulnerable. Now, student loans. The Senate slashed repayment options from 5 down to just 2. The SAVE plan, created under the Biden administration, will no longer be available to new borrowers after 2028. Instead, the new repayment assistance plan requires 30 years of payments before forgiveness, longer than the current 20 to 25-year range. Graduate students are capped to borrowing $100,000, while med and law students are capped at around $200,000. Parent Plus loans, once unlimited, are now capped. The takeaway? Students and parents face fewer borrowing options, stricter caps, and longer repayment timelines. Next, let's move to energy, where energy policy shifts are significant. The Senate accelerated the phase-out of clean energy tax credits. Wind and solar projects must start by next year and finish by 2027 to qualify. The $7,500 EV tax credit ends this September. Meanwhile, credits for nuclear, hydrogen, and geothermal projects were extended through 2028. The bill also mandates new oil and gas leasing on U.S. federal lands, including in Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico. In plain terms, support for green energy is winding down, while fossil fuels are getting new federal backing, especially in places like Alaska and the Gulf, where drilling will now be federally mandated. Now to the money side of the bill. The Senate raised the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, $1 trillion more than the House version. That gives the government room to borrow until after the 2026 elections. The SALT deduction, short for state and local taxes, was temporarily raised to $40,000 through 2030. After that, it drops back down to $10,000. What does this mean? No shutdowns or debt standoffs for the next 2 years, but it also adds trillions to the national debt. Some major changes were also removed quietly. First, the Senate removed a 10-year federal ban that would block states from creating their own AI regulations. Second, they removed a proposal to sell federal public lands for housing development. Lastly, they revoked a special tariff targeting Chinese-made parts used in renewable energy. Why that matters? These removals help the bill avoid legal challenges and bipartisan backlash, especially around AI and land use. Let's talk social policy. The Senate blocked federal funding for large abortion providers like Planned Parenthood, if they receive more than $800,000 annually. Fossil fuel leasing rights were expanded even further than in the House version. Bottom line, the final Senate version moved the bill further right on both social and energy policy. So, where does the one big beautiful bill stand now? On July 3rd, the House narrowly passed the Senate's final version, 218 to 214. This ends the negotiation phase, meaning no more amendments or revisions. The bill now heads to President Trump, who is expected to sign it, possibly on July 4th. What happens next? Once signed, this bill becomes law. The real impacts will begin. Tax returns will change. Student loans will look different. Millions may lose Medicaid access. Clean energy projects may stall. In Part 3, we'll track how this bill affects real lives. Subscribe for clear, no-spin breakdowns, and drop your take in the comments. This bill is big. Let's talk about it.